Hello, good morning. I'm here in Kitty's study. She's in the wings, ready to answer all your questions. Good
Hello.
morning. We are going to make some beautiful beaded roses today. You may have seen we've had some roses in the past in the True Red, and we've had them in beautiful domes as well. We might even have a couple of those kits still left over. We would have put them in the category which is in the link to the video. Today we're going to do summer roses, so beautiful purple, coral and pink. Now we have put a kit together for you. You're going to get all of your wire. We're using a 0.4mm wire, our beautiful seed beads in the 3 colours, and also your floristry tape, which is to bind the stems afterwards as well. I actually reckon you would get about 9 roses out of these, so 3 in each colour, which is amazing value for money. Now I'm using Kitty's new fancy software today, so I've had a quick little tutorial on how to use it. Hopefully it's going to go smoothly, I'm not too sure.
Gonna be fine.
I can't see the comments though, Kitty. Where do I get those?
Right, I'm just coming and click
One
for
sec.
you.
Little tutorial going on. I just want to say a quick hello to you all before we start going.
Let me just put this down, and it should be. Where is it gone? You just keep on talking, and I just stand here and
It'll
I
be
do
here
it for you.
somewhere. Kitty is like when Kitty was doing it and she was learning. Simon, all the kids were here, weren't they,
Yes.
to teach us? And now, obviously, we've had a quick little play with it this morning, and we'll
to
have a
keep
little
on
go.
that.
There we
That's it.
go. Okay, got you all. Good morning. I'll say a quick hello to you all, and then I'll turn the camera down. And we'll start. Well, actually, I don't even need to do that with this fancy stuff. I'll just click a little button. Good morning, Miranda. Hi, Natalie, Margaret, Rachel, Dee, Alicia, Francis, Carol. Good morning. She says, good morning, Sarah and Kitty and all our lovely beaders. Hi, Margaret, Charlotte, another Margaret, Nadia. Good morning, everyone. Camille says, good morning, Pinky and Perky.
Oh.
I'm not sure which one's who. Oh, do you know what? I was just readjusting my cushion. I'm going to show you this in a second. Hi, good morning, Jan. From a windy Weston-super-Mare. It's so windy here as well. We didn't even get to sit on the veranda last night. It was that windy. Good morning, Sharon. Hi, Lorraine, Sandra, Pamela. Good morning, Joke. Hi, Chef, Joe, Lucy. Already in my basket, she says. I can't wait to see this. Look. Okay, so when Kitty did her tutorial on the knitting, did she tell you all about my little housewarming present? She's given me the most amazing cushion. Look at this, she's made it. So it's got like a cushion inside, hasn't it?
Yes.
So it's got, oh, this is so lovely. Really lovely sort of velvet cushion. And then she's knitted and sewn all of this onto the front side of it as well. So it's absolutely gorgeous. We've actually still got some of this yarn as well,
Yes.
haven't we? This was a tutorial. Feels a bit like my dog. It feels like Earl. I can't remember when it was. June? No, it must have been July.
July, and it's called Linny. I'll get you the link. Just
The yarn is called Linny, and we've got loads of different colours. It's absolutely fabulous. So that's my little housewarming present. So that's coming home with me today. I'm going home tonight, so that'll go into my study. Isn't she lovely? Thank you, Kitty. Good morning, Lorna. Hi. Hi, Marcia. Everyone is saying good morning. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to turn you guys down. In fact, I'm just actually going to add on another little angle. Oh, no, I want it the other way around. There we go. And here I am. Okay, you've got it all. So we're going to be making the gorgeous roses. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look as well. So we've got the beautiful coral. Like I said, I reckon you'd be able to get at least 3 out of these. If you wanted to sacrifice it and have a larger size, so you could have a huge, big, beautiful rose, then you can. You've got the lovely coral. We've also got the pink and the purple. All of them together look absolutely beautiful. And you could have them all in little single stem vases. You could put them in little pots, make gorgeous little bouquets out of them. They're just a really nice take on your beads, so something a little bit different. I'm going to go for a pink one today.
We got Wanda watching from South Africa.
From South Africa, good
Karina
morning.
watching from Sweden.
Oh, hi, in Sweden as well, good morning.
Very, very international today again.
International beaded flowers, I love it. Okay, so let's get going because I'm actually just going to make the entire thing beginning to end with you today. I was saying to Kitty, let's just go for it. It's going to be a bit of a longer video, but I want you to see the whole process and how long it takes. So we're going to start at the very beginning, prepping your beads. Now, bead spinners. Some of you only saw them for the first time when I was doing the beaded macrame. And as you know, it cuts your preparation time. I can't even say in half because it's more than that. We did put Christopher to task yesterday. He had good fun with the bead spinner, prepping all of these beads for me. You can keep your wire on the spool. So I just release a little bit, just sit where you are, release a bit of your wire. I'm going to bring these beads down and we're going to add on a few more. So this is my 0.4mm wire, and for your rows you're going to need a centre petal, which is only 3 rows, and this will all make sense to you in a moment when I get going. Sorry Kitty, go on.
Lucy's asking what size beads they are.
These are our size 12
Yes.
FGB beads, so it's the fancy glass beads, which you know I absolutely love using. With your flowers, you could make them in Toho beads, but they would be very expensive. Of course, for something like a really special occasion, it might be nice, but you need the sheer volume of them. And of course, the FGB are just a little bit better than craft beads, because with craft beads, you have really irregular finishes. Okay, so just on the end, I've got a little knot here. I'm just going to cut that off. So you want to prep the end of your wire so that you've got a hook to be able to start using your bead spinner. So I'm just going to use my index finger. I'm going to bend that around my finger and just create a little fish hook. And then straightening out some of this wire, ready to go. The middle class seed beads, as Lucy says. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I've named them. They're not your super posh ones, and they're not the really cheapy ones. They are your middle class seed bead. So I've got this lovely little hook on the end, ready to go into my beads. I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold it in my right hand like a pen. My middle finger will stabilise this as we go, so index finger and thumb holding it in position. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to spin my spinner anti-clockwise, which means when I dip my needle in, bring this in, when I dip my needle in, it's going to just skim the top of those beads. So I just push it under the surface of the beads, and you'll see I'm holding it nice and horizontally, which means that the beads will just fly up the wire. Bring these down, and for each of your petals you're going to need about 50 centimetres. So you do need quite a lot, which is why your bead spinner is a game changer when it comes to your flowers, because to pick those up individually off your bead mat with your needle is going to take you quite some time. So to be able to do it like this is really fantastic. You can sit for an hour or so, prep all of your beads. You'll get a couple of spools of your wire, so you're going to have enough to probably do each of your colours at a time. Now I can see one of my beads is actually stopping the rest coming up, so I'm just going to take that off and start again. If you find you're not picking beads up, just readjust the position. Have a little look. A lot of the time it might be because one bead has a smaller hole. You can often see that sometimes you get these little sidey ones as well. Just pinch that off and pop that back in. Moving these up and just readjust the position every now and again. So you're going to need lots of beads, and luckily you don't have to sit here and just watch me do it. As therapeutic as it is, I love bead spinning. I find it really relaxing and it's good fun. And in terms of your preparation, like I said, it's going to cut that down. So bring your beads up to the top of your wire. We're going to start with the very centre of our flower. And for this, all of the petals are exactly the same technique. For this one, we only need 3 rows of our beads. So for all of them, I'm going to bring up about 1 centimetre. And with these beads, that's about 7 beads. So leaving a little tail up at the top, I'm going to bring up my 7. I'm leaving about 20 centimetres of my wire, and I'm going to bring up this loop. So I'm bringing it to the base of my beads, like so. And then I'm going to open up this circle, so you can see my hands are holding those beads in place so I don't lose them off the top of the wire. You can tie a knot if you want to. And I'm just putting my fingers in here, opening this up and twisting. So can you see that it's beginning to create these twists up at the top? I need a good few of those. It won't take me long to do. Just a couple of twists. So I'm putting my hand in, opening it up. That will position the coil up at the very top. And this loop is going to become the stem of our petal.
Lorna's got a question.
Yeah.
Is there any way to make the flowers waterproof? It's coming up to my mother-in-law's anniversary of her death last year. I've made a memorial corner in the garden for my husband would love these roses for him all year flowers.
Yeah, so I think you probably could. I have done this. Some of you know I make the fabric flowers as well. And I went to B&Q and they had a sealant spray. I think you could probably use it on this. Now, I would test it. I'm not sure how the colour of these beads would react to that sort of chemical. I don't know what chemicals are in there. So I would maybe make one petal, like we're about to do, test it with the spray, and that would be fine. You could also paint over it with like a clear nail polish or a varnish, something like that. I'm pretty sure that would work, something like that. Anything that's going to give it like a waterproof sealant. B&Q very often have stuff like that.
How about the Crystal Art Sealer?
Crystal Art Sealer, yeah, you could use like a Mod Podge or the Crystal Art Sealer, a gel medium, something like that. I would probably water it down ever so slightly, use a paintbrush and paint it all over the top. I would suggest doing that before you construct the rose. So do it when you've got all the individual petals. I'll tell you at what point, once we get there, how to do that. And I think that's a really lovely idea. And I'm so sorry for the loss of your loved one as well. I think it's a really nice way to keep a memory. Okay, so I've got my centimetre of beads in the middle. So this wire is attached to my spool. Okay, so this is where all my beads are preloaded onto. So now what I'm going to do is flip my work over. I'm going to bring up some of my beads and I'll just slide them all up. And around the left-hand side of my spine of beads, I'm going to bring up enough beads to wrap up and around. So you can see that it's going to sit really nicely. I'm taking away those extra beads because it's met the middle of the spine. You just want it so it curves up and over without too much of a gap in between. Now, with your roses, you need a round bottom and a pointed top, okay? So the bottom of your leaf is where we have our stem, the top is where we've got this little bit. So up here, we want a nice point. So my wire is coming over the front, and I'm gonna do this for you in a clock face so that we can all picture it really, really easily. So you're gonna take your wire up and over the spine, and you're gonna position it at 2 o'clock. And then you're gonna wrap around the back of your wire, and take your wire to 10 o'clock. Then we're going to cross diagonally over the front to 4 o'clock. And that will give me a point just up at the top. So now when I bring up my next beads, can you see I've got that really nice point? And that's going to give me a pointed petal. So that's for things like your roses, sunflowers, gerberas, daisies, lilies, anything that's got a nice point. Now, I always like gravity to help me in these situations. You don't want to fight it, so I will rotate my work around. So I'm always bringing my beads up on the left. Bring your beads up over to the left until you reach the spine. You can always take one away, add one on. See, if I add one in there, I've got quite a big gap. If I take that one away, I can pull it tighter and it'll close that gap up. So just have a little play. You don't need to count them. And then here we want a rounded bottom. So the only time we probably do. So I'm going to take my work up and over the spine from 3 o'clock on that clock face. And I'm just going to wrap all the way around back to 3. So no fancy turns, just wrapping it all the way around in one circle, around the back and back to the front. And again, bringing up some more beads, twisting it over, so I'm rotating it round, pulling that wire nice and tight, nice and flush, adding on whatever amount of beads you are comfortable with to get that lovely finish. 2 o'clock at the front, 10 o'clock at the back, 4 o'clock at the front. Bring up those next beads, rotate it around, and bring them in. Up to the spine at the base, and wrapping it around. So you'll see I'm using my finger and my thumb a lot to keep that really nice and close to the spine. And for my smallest petals, so we'll need 3 exactly this size, you want them with a count of 7 rows. So these are the rows of the beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've just got one more to add on the other side and this petal is done. So again, making sure you get that lovely shape, 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, bring up those extra beads, rotate it around, nice and tight. You'll see I keep on constantly playing with the beads, flattening them out, making it nice and flush. Last bead up at the top, and then when you get to the end, so this is my 7-row basic petal, and it has a pointed top and a rounded bottom. And it's actually the same for the orchids. Do you remember when we did the orchids? The same as that. So a couple of coils on the bottom, cut that off, and that is one of my petals done. So we're going to go for another 2, exactly this size. So bringing up my 7. Julie says, good morning, missed the start, sorry. Hello, lovely beaders. Hello, good morning. Don't worry about missing the start. Once this is finished, it will all be uploaded onto the Facebook page, and you will be able to then look at it forever. You can go back and look at it as many times as you need. Okay, so I've got my 7 beads in the middle. That's the only time I'm going to bother counting them. Up and over to the left, bringing them around, up to the top. Again, just play with the counted beads. You can see I've always got some stuck in my hand here because it just makes it nice and easy to add on a couple, take a couple away, just position it to where you need it to be. 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, up and over. Rotating it around, bringing them in, and just pull it, position it, tighten it up, get it all in the right position, all the way around for this one. Bring up some more of these beads. And you'll see that the process that you get into is actually really relaxing. It's quite therapeutic. It's just a pattern repeat. It's nice and easy to do. To begin with, just play with these petals. At the end of the day, it's only a little bit of your wire and just a few seed beads. If you go wrong, you can cut them off. It's really not the end of the world. Just get used to working with it as a medium and getting these really nice, neat finishes. They don't need to take you a long while to do. And once you start learning to work with your wire and how it's going to move, it will be easier. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So within the space of probably only took me a couple of minutes to do that one, you'll see it's nice and simple. Couple of coils down at the base, cut that off, nice and flush, and there's my second petal. So we need one more exactly this size. So bringing up the 7, 3, 6, 7, up to the top. And I've got the coil of wire just in between my knees, which is stopping it all from coming undone. And it means that you can open it up as much as you need, give yourself some of that extra wire. With the extra beads that I've got on, and I do have a lot, thank you, Christopher. You can just move these down to give yourself extra wire all the time. I probably wouldn't normally have this many on, but I do want to show you the whole thing. So normally I would do a little bit less and then just add on per petal. So you need 50 centimetres per petal, roughly. 3, 6, 7. So I would normally do about 1 petal's worth. Can I get the wire anywhere, or is yours just for doing flowers? Yeah, we've got loads of different colours of the wire. You can get it on the website. I'll ask Kitty to put a little link up for you. We've got lots of different colours. We've got more colours coming in as well because we've got so many different flowers to do soon. We use it all in...
We've got larger rolls coming as well.
Yeah, we've got huge big rolls coming, like 40, 50 metres or so. 55 metres. Okay, so bringing these beads up, bringing it over to the left, hugging along the top of those spines, over the top, 2 o'clock, around the back, 10 o'clock, crossing over to 4 o'clock. And then again, rotating it over.
Well, we got a question from Janet. She's asking, is there any way to stop the beads fading? My Spanish lavender was in the window and faded from purple to bright pink in a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
Now, I think Friday before, we did a video on seed beads. Have a look at that video because it's not just show you the different sizes I talked you through, but the different finishes as well. Now, if you want something specifically put in a window, or Lorna, if you want to put it outside, I would choose a color of seed beads where the color is all the way through. So the color of the seed beads is the color of the glass. Now, there is thousands of different colors and finishes of seed beads. Some of them, the color goes all the way through into the glass. Some of them are painted, surface painted, or the color line when the color is painted inside the glass as well. They can fade because they are painted, sort of coated beads. But if you want something specifically for the window, when the sun is going to hit it every single day, but hopefully if it's sunny every day, choose a color where, like, you know the roses in the red, that is a transparent red colour, and the colour goes all the way through the rose.
Yeah, nice. Hopefully you can all hear Kitty okay. So picking those colours of beads, if you know you want it to go outside, you want it to last and be weatherproof, sunproof, etc. Pick one where the colour's going all the way through. And I think that's where the education in the videos, we did the Q&A last week, where Kitty went through all of the seed beads. That will hopefully be really helpful as well. Okay, so maybe you could send them maybe you could send her a link to the colour that would be good to go in the window. Okay, so for the very middle, I'm going to do about an inch of my beads. Bring this up, same technique. I'm just going to do a little bit of a stem. Keep on moving these down. I'm running out of wire again. It is surprising. This is why we've gone for really big spools as well, because it's really surprising sometimes just how much wire you actually get through with these things. I was laughing while you were talking, Kitty, because I hit off one of the spare beads and it whacked me straight in the face. But you can all see me now, so you saw it happen.
You can take that corner off though.
Oh no, I quite like it. Hopefully you can all see all right. So just got a few of these little beads, naughty ones, rogue ones. Okay, so about an inch worth in the middle, and I'm just going to do a little 3-row for this one. When your petals are longer, so particularly when you're doing things like for your orchid leaves, your leaves are really long. The spine, the center beads are really long, because that is going to give you that longer leaf, that longer shape. So just make sure that you keep on lining up the beads, squeezing them together, keeping them as tight as you can. So it just takes a little bit more positioning. And then this one is all we need for the center. That's just my 3. So I'm going to cut that off as it is. And then we're nearly done. We need 5 petals that are 9 rows. So like I said, you could go up to sort of 11s. You could do much larger. This is now giving me the very center of my flower. And then my little row of 3 is my center. My other 3 petals are going to be the start of the bud. And then we'll go now for our 9 rows. Now, when you do the leaves, they are exactly the same technique. Really, oh, Lucy's saying, is there going to be an orchid kit on the website, please? I'd like to purchase. Yeah, we did have them. They mustn't be in stock anymore. Kitty's going to have a look for you, Lucy. Yeah, because we also did a video on the construction of an orchid as well. Very similar technique to this in terms of the petals. It all just comes down to the shapes and replicating the shapes is where you have the difference. With your roses, you can always Google an image of a rose, have a real rose in front of you. You can replicate some of the shapes. Once we get going in a minute, we're going to be moulding and bending the petals to make them look really nice and realistic. It's always really helpful just to have that kind of visual guide if it's your first time as well. Even when I'm making the orchids, we had a little workshop back in...
last year, I think it was.
Yeah, maybe September last year, perhaps. Maybe if there's anyone on here who came to the orchid workshop, you could remind us when it was. I actually bought a little mini orchid just from Marks and Spencer's, I think it was. You know, when you get your little flower pots at the front. And I just replicated it, completely replicated it. You'll see it on my Facebook page. I've got the beaded one sat next to the real one, which is really nice because if you've got things like for weddings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you've got things for weddings, you know, really important flower, maybe a bouquet, you can even replicate them and then have a complete memoir of it. You can have a keepsake.
Fine, the orchids are out of stock at the moment because we're out of the seed beads. But since you're here today and we're going into the warehouse, maybe
We could pick some new ones.
I'll just get you to pick some new colours.
Yeah, of course we could. So the orchid is out of stock just because we're out of colour of the seed beads that we had. But Kitty and I will be going into the warehouse after this to do a day of working before I go home tonight. And we'll pick some new colours. So maybe we'll get them back in stock for you.
Maybe later in September or sometime in September you could do a video on the orchid.
Yeah, that'd be really nice. We've already done one on the Facebook Lives. Yeah. But yeah, we can do another one for sure.
That was right at the beginning.
I think it was, yeah. Okay, so that's my first larger petal. So you can see the difference here. Exactly the same shape. This is my 7 rows. This is my 9. That's going to give us the next step out for our rows. So I just need to do a few more of these. I'm kind of regretting now saying I would do the whole thing for you because I don't want you to get bored watching me make now 5 of these petals. But as you can see, they don't take too long to come together. And I think it's nice for you to see in real time how long these things take. And if I'm brave enough to sit and make the whole thing for you live, then there should be no problem for you doing it at home. It's going to be a reasonably quick make.
Rachel's saying, I never actually thought of using beads to create flowers. Ted, excited now.
I love it. Yeah, our beads, they just have so many uses, and sometimes it's so nice to do something completely different, something that wouldn't ordinarily. Someone just said a calla lily would be nice. Yeah, beautiful. I've actually made them as buttonholes in the past. If you look on my Instagram page, I've got one on my husband's wedding suit. It wasn't actually on our wedding day, but I made one and just like pinned it on, took a little picture of it. It's really lovely. It's just so nice to have different uses for your beads. Sometimes it's nice just to do something a little bit different. And as you can see, I haven't had to spin on any other beads. These are great to do on the move as well. You know, if you're going away somewhere, going on holiday, if you just want to relax in front of the telly, you really don't have to concentrate on it too much because it's also a pattern repeat, which of course allows you to perfect some of those skills and just get better and better.
Sandra is saying she would like to get the orchid kit too, so we're definitely going to have
Okay, we will definitely do that for you today, guys. We will go in, pick some new colours. Obviously, I won't have finished pictures of them made up, but we'll add it in so that you can have a little look. And then, of course, you've got the construction video as well. Same technique as the flowers, pretty much. Little bit of variation to the technique that we're using today, but it's pretty much about the same.
Laura is asking, are the number of rows on the petals always numbers like 5, 7, 9, like odd numbers?
Yes, they're always odd because you start with one in the middle. So you're always then going to have on either side because you want to finish on the base. So you'll have your middle, which is your number 1. So then it'll always be either 3, 5, 7, because you're going to go around each time. So yeah, they're always odd numbers because you've got that middle spine. In this technique, certainly. On other flowers, when I start doing things like pansies, hydrangeas, they're coming. When we do things like that, you have a different technique of making the petals.
Maria's saying, would love an orchid kit too, Miss that when they run Create and Craft. I think you're going to have to...
Right, that's today's task then, isn't it?
Sorted, yeah.
No lunch break for us today, Kitty. We've got to sort out orchids.
Julie's asking, could you also do a Facebook Live on a bonsai tree as well, please? Yes, we will. We got... probably not really supposed to tell you, but we got new bonsai trees coming, and we will have different sizes. And
so they're your bonsai bases, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, so Kitty's just waiting for that
stock to come in.
That shipment to come in. It shouldn't be too far away now, should it, really? And then we'll get onto the bonsai trees for you.
Heather is saying, I love making roses, was my first ever via flower. Transferred those and playing with other designs to make a bouquet this time last year. Loved it.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I've seen some amazing bouquets. We have our Totally Handmade by Totally Beads Facebook group. So you are all in there, I think. If you're not, head on over, because I was talking to Simon on this visit. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was talking to Simon on this visit, and I asked if, because some of you share your pictures, and they're just absolutely beautiful. We are blown away with some of the designs, either replicas of the designs that we have shown you, or you've come up with your own take on things. So what we're actually going to do, starting in September, is do a maker of the month. So in our Facebook group, just share pictures of whatever you've made using our designs, using our materials, and we're going to pick each month a maker of the month. And you will be sent a voucher to spend on the website. Just to say a little thank you for all your inspiration and for sharing all of your pictures, and just a little thank you back. So head on over onto that page. You have to answer a couple of questions to get in. Kitty and I will add you into the group, and then you can start seeing everything that everyone has been making. It's a really nice inspirational place, and I think a lot of you have made a few friends out of it as well, because you're all very like-minded people. That's why we're here. So it's just a really nice place to get a bit more inspiration. Okay, we've got 2 more of these to do.
Right, Nadia is saying, and I'll scroll up 1 second. Hi Kitty, you were going to add an autumnal Toho Size Event collection for ginkgo leaves, yellow, orange. Still planning to do? Would you add a link when you do, please? Right, so we're going to be doing more, because you really love the Toho mixes. I'm going to do some more different colors. So last week we had a purple one, and like an aubergine color one, a pink and rose one. We had an aqua, a seafoam teal one. So if I look at the Tahos, because there's so many different colors, I actually can come up with probably another hundreds of different colors. Yeah. But I will do.
So it's an autumnal mix that she wanted.
I
nice.
think we're going to do something like yellow, fade all the way to red, and then we perhaps do like greens, and that's probably yours, the greens.
Yeah.
Greens and
really olives. Into my greens and khaki colours at the moment.
Yes, and then I was thinking like to do maybe a monochrome one, because I haven't got a monochrome, and maybe gold too, and like sort of an ambery browny colours as well.
Oh, that's
so
neat too.
They will be coming. Hopefully.
Lovely.
Hopefully very soon.
Thank you, Kitty. Oh, someone's saying please give Kitty a microphone. We're not that fancy, Anne. Yeah. She's just got to come closer to the phone. Kitty was saying that she's going to do Toho mixes for you. There's so many colours. She could put so many together. So, yes, she will put together some autumnal colour mixes for you, which were all based around the ginkgo leaf video when she did those. Okay, 1 more petal to do, guys, and then we are on to leaves, and then we can have a nice little construction. Okay, so again, 7 in the middle. Do let me know if
Mary is saying she's having trouble keeping tension. So
keeping tension with these.
I think so, yeah.
So if it's down at the bottom, maybe here, opening up these to allow the coils to go up at the top. Tension on these, you don't really need tension on these. You need to fill it with beads. So it might be that you've got some bigger gaps in them, perhaps. So when it comes to here, just squeeze your petal together, squeeze the rows together so that you've got a really neat finish. You might also find that some of your wire has little kinks on it. Before I run the beads up, I just run my hand along the wire, which will allow the wire to sit really nice and straightly as well. That's going to take away any of those kinks. Tension, I guess, around the spine, keeping it nice and close is important. Hold your beads in your left hand when you know you've got no gaps. Use your thumb to keep it really nice and close. So from 2 to 10 and back over. Can you see I'm using my thumbs to hold those in position, swapped from my right to my left hand. And then again, when you bring it down this side, keep it nice and tight. Around the middle, I'll use my thumb. So I'm using my thumb, using my finger, keeping that pushed nice and close to the spine. I've worked with wire for years, and I've made these flowers for years. It comes with practice, being able to work with wire neatly, and just understanding it, knowing how it will perform and how it will sit, is something that will come with practice. So just keep on practicing. Flowers like these and kits like these are ideal because we did say you'd probably get about 9 flowers out of these of this size, 3 of each colour. you know, you've got enough in there to practice with as well. Marie's saying that's the bit she struggles with. I think it's the, yeah, keeping your coils nice and tight. How much wire is required per bead? 50 centimeters per petal, but how much for the stems? You don't need any beads on the stems. Do you mean for the whole thing? So we've got 5 of your petals in a size 9 row. 3 in your 7s and 1 in the middle is a triple. Maybe Kitty can add all of that up for me. You don't need any beads for the stems at all, but we're going to be adding on some leaves. And I'll show you in a moment. So out of your 50 grams, you're going to get about 3 of your flowers. So if you break that down, but that's in size 12 as well, remember. So of course that will be reflected on your bead size too. Okay, that's my last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my 9. Super. Last one on here. So I've got 5 for the outside, 3 for the middle, my little 3 row in the center. Thank you, Christopher, for all my beads. We had more than enough. So I'm just going to tie a knot in the end of this, and then I'm going to put this back on my spool. Give me 1 sec. Oh, hop under, get the wire. So then, because I've put the knot in the bottom of my spool, I can keep these beads for next time, wrap those all up, and then you're ready and prepped for your next lot, which is fab. Okay, let's do this one before we make some leaves. So to final step to just neaten up, shape and neaten all of your petals. I'm going to take my flat nose pliers, pinch, 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 twist, twist, twist. Not really twisting the wire, it's just a little pincer movement to get rid of any sharp edges on here. My stem, we're going to cut the middle. Give this a nice little flatten out. So I'm sort of wobbling it through my fingers, rolling it out. And then at the very top, do that before you cut the top. So you'll see the leaves have a definite front and a back. So the back, you can actually see you're twisting. The front is really nice and neat. So this is the back side. I'm going to take my finger up at the top, just bend that wire over to the back, leave a couple of millimeters and just pinch that in. So it's now completely hidden down the spine of that wire and will give you a nice neat finish. Do excuse my very dry hands.
Christine is watching from Belgium.
Oh, hi Christine, good morning.
And there is I think they're cutting the work out for you because they want hydrangeas, frangipani, calla lily, pansies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, what flowers we need to make.
Right,
Sarah?
well then, that's my next few months ticked off, isn't it? I've got all these flowers to make. It's really lovely. I absolutely love making the flowers because it's just so nice to see the construction of it come together. It's very similar to, you know, with all the weaving that we do with seed beads. You're just taking the most basic of materials, so basic, and inexpensive, which obviously I love, because you can make something super impressive out of it without having to spend, you know, an absolute ton of money. And I just love the way they come together and form any sort of shape. I think that's why I love wireworks so much.
Right, Margaret's asking, I bought the seed bead pack. Could I use those to practice these flowers, please? Which one was that one, the Toho one, or is it the one what you had for the macrame, or?
Yeah, any of your seed bead packs. You can use any to practice these with. Practice your petals. Just sacrifice a little bit of wire, which obviously is inexpensive. You're not going to need much of it, you know, a few, maybe 30 centimeters or so. And yeah, have a little practice. And then you are going to need those beads in volume to be able to make your actual flower. But it's always good to have a little practice as well.
And we got a slightly off-base question.
Mm-hmm.
And they're asking, what colour is my wall? I'm not really sure, to be honest.
That's amazing. Just a really nice cream, isn't
yeah,
it?
it is like a buttercream colour. I'm so rubbish with colours. I would go into and sort of look at all the charts they have in there with all the different colours and just sort of maybe buy a little tester for 3 or 4 different shades and just try it on the wall and just
give it a go, yeah. as you know, John and I have been doing up our house recently, and we love really dark decor. So our house is really dark. The living room is a very deep dark green. It's actually 2 shades of green. But I put some nice cream wallpaper up there. But when we were picking the colours, we did the same thing. We go in and there are thousands of these colour charts. I took in a bit of the floor, a cushion from the sofa. We were kind of marrying it all up with wallpaper and the colours, and we probably had, I don't know, 7 different variations of it. Every time I picked up a colour, I'd go, oh yes, I really like that one. And I'd pick up another one. Oh no, I like that one. And pick up another one. Oh no, this is better. We were in there for hours. It was very funny. It was driving him mad in the end.
In the hallway, we got a really nice lavender colour. And to the date, Simon is sort of convinced he picked the colour of the hallway. Because I went in and choosing 5 lavender colours. I did have my favourite. He didn't choose that one. But I let him to choose from the 5 colours which one he wanted.
Oh, so it was your favourite ones, and then he just picked the one he wanted, so he chose it.
Yeah.
Got ya. I love it. Oh, yeah, I'm very lucky in that John and I have very similar taste in decor. I can imagine what it will look like. He kind of, because he's not sort of creatively minded, he can't imagine what it will look like. So it's up to me to kind of almost paint the picture for him. To see what it will be like. Okay, someone was asking a moment ago what size the wire is. I'm using 0.4mm wire. Marie, it was you. There you go.
Use 9.3 as well.
You can use a 3. So I actually made one of them out of a 3. Here you go. So this one is with the 0.4. You can see that the petals are quite rigid. They hold their shape really beautifully. If I'm just moving these here. With the 0.3, you can already see it's got a bit of a wobble on it. So they are a lot softer. It doesn't hold into shape as much. And you can see that the spine sort of doesn't hold together as much.
I think the only benefit of using the 0.3, if you buy it separately, you get much more meterage.
And it's easier to work with. If you're new to working with wire, then a 0.3 is a great one to start with.
Camille is asking, can you repeat what you said about the Totally Handmade group, please?
Yes, so Totally Handmade by Totally Beads is a page that we have on the groups. So if you go to the Facebook page, have a look at groups, and you'll see in there's Totally Seed Beads, Totally Pearls, Totally Crystals. There's one called Totally Handmade by Totally Beads. And in there, everybody just shares pictures. I think we've got well over 1,000 people in there now, haven't we? 1,500, something like that.
200, but I just find out for you.
Yeah, oh, okay, just going to have a look. Maybe I should put, I don't know if you can put up the link, actually. No, you can't because it's a group, so you'll need to go and find it. But in there, everyone shares pictures of what they're making. Kitty and I share pictures, inspiration, things. For example, if you're watching today, you might put up a picture in of flowers that you have done, anything that you've made using our tutorials or using Totally Beads products. And what we will do is each month we're going to pick our favourite project or our favourite make. Maybe it's somebody who's been really encouraging in the group, has been helping some of our newbies. Maybe it's someone who has the most amazing makes in there. If you're not always comfortable sharing your makes, it doesn't have to be for that reason only. It could just be that you're a very active member and we'd like to say thank you. So we're going to pick a maker of the month every month. And we will send you a voucher for the website just to say thank you.
1,800.
1,800 of you in there. So it's busy. It's a great place to be. Okay, so you've just seen me. I took my little 3 section. I have twisted it over. And then I'm just going to take that quarter top section and bend it down and fold it over. This is the very middle of our rose. This is like the very tight bud-like center where you get those the really tight petals just before they start opening up. That's what that is going to replicate. So then we're going to take our 3 little smaller petals.
Rachel is saying, I'm in the group, but I haven't posted any pictures yet. Not that confident.
See, this is the thing. I know a lot of you aren't, and so that's why I'm saying, like, the Maker of the Month doesn't have to just be, you know, because you're sharing pictures. It could just be that you're a really active and lovely member of the group, and we would like to say thank you. So just keep on doing what you are doing, guys. We absolutely love it in there, and hopefully over time, the more people that share pictures, the more confidence you will get to share yours as well. Okay, so
But
shaping.
don't forget, sometimes the less is more, and everybody's all different abilities. So don't think yourself.
Absolutely,
You are a beginner
don't
and
ever
your
put
pictures
yourself
are
down
good.
on your makes, and we are all there to support each other. So it's just a really nice place. Sometimes it's even, I've seen people put things up, you know, I'm not sure what else to do with this necklace. What could I do? I'm not sure where this went wrong. Can anyone help me? So it's things like that as well, that you can gain out of the group, not just sharing your pickies. Okay, so shaping the petals. I'm going to take my thumb. I'm going to push in the very base of my petal, and this is to give me a sort of little dome-like cup down at the bottom. Can you see that? So I'm holding the top, I'm just pushing in, giving myself a little cup. Then I'm taking the top and just moulding it over my finger. So no sharp movements, no sharp edges. It's all little bendy, mouldy shapes. Okay, and that's going to be one of my petals. You can play with these as much as you like. Don't bend them, don't overbend them, because you will break your wire, but you can give these some really nice little shapes. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Trying to replicate nature is incredibly difficult because it's random. It's not going to be uniformed. It's not going to be perfect. Give each of them their own little character. Twist some to the left, some to the right, mould a few more of them. The smaller ones are slightly harder to shape because you get a little bit less surface area to work with. As they get bigger, you can really give them gorgeous shapes. Lucy says it's a very supportive, no negativity in the group at all. Love seeing what everyone is making. It's definitely built my confidence. Thank you, Lucy. That's like the best description of our group. I have, you know, I've seen that people have been worried about other groups because, you know, occasionally you'll get the odd narky comment. We don't have any of it in our group.
We're saying you're making a cobra head shape.
Cobra head, perfect. I love that people see things so differently. Oh my goodness, now I can't unsee a cobra. He's even got little fangs on the end. That's hilarious. That is the best description. Thank you, Camille. I will be taking that with me for all my days when I'm teaching my roses. So you can see here, I'm just bringing them all together. I've got that centerpiece in the middle, the three little petals on the outside, allowing them to overlap each other, just creating a little bud. Have a little play around with them until they will sit in a way that you are comfortable with. Make sure that all of the bases come together. I'm then going to hold all of the spines, hold the rose as an entire body, and twist it.
Marie's saying, I'm in the group, but don't share because my makes are not good. Oh, Marie, don't say that.
Yes, they are.
This is the Marie.
I've seen your makes.
Oh, yes.
I've seen your makes, Marie.
Me
but
too.
You don't have to have confidence. You know, if you don't want to share them, that's absolutely fine. I know that you are constantly helping other people, constantly putting up links to things. You're always commenting and supporting other people, helping out, and that is all we ask from our lovely customers and followers. There we go. Okay, so nice little cobra head on the outside. Now I've got this center bud in the middle. I'm going to take the larger pieces and come on the outside. Now I'm going to bend it ever so slightly off center because I want that cup for everything else to sit in on the outside. And you can see you need to make sure that the base of the beads are all going to be about roughly level with each other. What I have found when teaching them before is that when people start attaching new petals, they move further and further down the spine, which is going to give you a longer flower. You want to make sure that they are up at the top. Make sure that the petal is overlapping your join of the two petals before, which is what a natural flower would be doing. Sitting that in there, and then I'm just going to give this a loose little join to begin with. And we're just going to add on the rest of our petals base cup at the bottom, folding it out at the top, making sure the base is in, all nice and secure, and wrapping it around. So my wrapping on these ones isn't going to be too secure, because I'm probably going to change the position of them, move them around ever so slightly until I know that everything is in the right place.
Yes, Lorna.
Yes.
Saying Christopher will want to add snakes to the fishes he's already inspired.
My goodness, I think they bug our office.
That just
Who's been listening to mine and Kitty's brainstorming sessions? You know, we have these ideas and we think, oh, this is great, we'll surprise them with this. And then there you are, all coming up with the same ideas. Christopher was writing lists yesterday. So obviously we've got the sea creatures, which have been fantastic. I was so proud of myself when I made that dolphin. It was the first time I'd used the technique, and I absolutely loved doing it. Really, really lovely. Kitty is actually going to be doing the seahorse tomorrow.
Yeah.
And yes, Christopher was making lists for farmyard animals, for pets, for all sorts.
And then it was a random thing, a pigeon.
Yeah, and then he wanted a pigeon, bless him. Wasn't sure what category to put it in, but let's do a pigeon. He does come up with some funny ideas, love him. Okay, last petal. So I've managed to obviously do the whole thing. I'm just going to make a couple of leaves to add on as well. Now, when it comes to adding on the last one, you can add it anywhere you like. And like I said, you can keep on going. Sandra, he's already on it. Beaded spiders and bats for Halloween. He is on it.
And he's saying she just finished her first fish.
Oh, fantastic. How did you get on? Oh, you'll have to share a little picture in the group later as well. We'd love to see. Okay, so twisting these all over, and there is our rose. Now, you can play around with this. You can reposition them. You can open up the petals. You can do as much as you like. You can add on larger petals around the outside. There's lots of different ways that you can shape them. If you're not happy with some of the petals, of course, you can mold, you can bend. I'm forever playing with mine, depending on, you know, where they are, whether they're in a pot or like the orchid. Every time I walk past it, I tend to move a petal or a leaf. That gives us our rose. Now, for me, there is nothing that finishes it more perfectly than your leaves. This, to me, just now gives it the perfect finish. It takes it from something that's a little bit mediocre into a rose, which is what we want. So, petals for our roses. I tend to do, leaves for our roses. I tend to do a teeny tiny one. So I only bring up 3 beads, and I will do a 3-row pointed petal, just using 3 of my beads. So bring it up, bring it over, point it at the top, and you would think it's like quite an insignificant thing to add, like, you know, what difference are 9 beads going to make? But I'll show you. So that's one of my tiny little leaves. I'm going to go for a bigger one. Let's go for about 6. And again, bringing up that loop. So it's all exactly the same technique, which I think is why I love doing them, because you just get better and better at them the more you do. I'm sure you probably found it with the lavender as well.
Joe is saying, I was replying to, I think, Marie.
Yeah.
I gave up Mary nowhere as good as Sarah's.
Oh, no, not true.
No. I have to say, when we did the lavender, and I did the lavender with you.
Yep.
I did it, and I didn't like how it looked, because I wanted them really high and proud, and I went back and slightly redid them, and
yes.
I did them, and I added like a stem in the middle to make them like really stand up and really tall, and then I really liked it.
That's it. Everybody has different taste. What we are here to do as teachers and tutors and designers is just to inspire you. To think maybe outside of the box, just to think of materials a little bit differently, shapes perhaps even. Like Kitty was just saying, the way I do my lavender, Kitty doesn't like. She likes doing it her own different way. But she'll look at it. You know, I don't think you would have thought of beading lavender unless I'd shown you.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you have a little play with it. You put your own spin on it. And everybody has different taste. So no matter what you make, so long as you love it, that is the main thing. That's the main thing. Okay, so final leaf for this little bud section up at the top. I'm just going to do, yeah, I think we'll go in between. So I've done kind of 3 different sizes of my petals here. Oh, sorry, guys. Wibble wobble. Here's me in Kitty's professional setup, and I still hit the camera.
But this thing, this is so nice. Could you put a wee drop of oil on the beads for a smell?
I think you would end up corroding the wire. I wouldn't recommend it. You can obviously with your fabric flowers and things that we do, but with these ones, I would say it will. I mean, it doesn't matter if it tarnishes your wire because you're not really going to see it. But over time, it might corrode it down.
I think if you put it in a pot, perhaps you can add some.
Yeah, put some oil in the pot.
In the pot,
yeah,
in the base.
Yeah, that'd be nice. If you set them in, maybe put some stones around the bottom. You could put those on those as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a larger leaf to go down the middle of my stem. Now, I haven't done this on any of my others because if I'm going to put them in a pot and put them in a bouquet, I only need a couple that have these stems at the base. And this is for things like your single rose. So like when I do my Beauty and the Beast rose, these are a nice way of adding them on. Oh, I've probably left myself a little bit tight at the top there. Whoopsies. We'll see. No, I know I have. Okay, I'm just going to undo this one. Move these down a bit. I just need a little bit more wire up at the top, like so.
Well, they say we take your techniques and add our own twist on it.
That's it, exactly. And that's what everyone does. And therefore, it doesn't matter if yours doesn't look like mine or, you know, mine and Kitty's, or you have the same sort of finish.
Even between me and you, I mean, we're just talking about it. We do things like differently, like the macrame. We do it ends up the same, but do it slightly different method.
Yeah, the process of how you get there doesn't matter. You know, sometimes we'll be designing things and I'll say, oh, I want to do this, 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 and this. And Kitty will go, oh, no, I would do this, 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 and this, or I would add this bead in or that bead in. I think that's why it's so nice that you get different tutors as well, because you get very different takes on things. And everyone does their own thing differently. So you crack on, you do you. And just show your pictures so we can see, because we love to see. Okay, so adding on a leaf for the base. So I'm going to leave myself a little bit more space up at the top, give myself a little bit of a longer stem. These 3 are going to sit, they are going to be like the sepal, the bud, where the rose comes out. This one is going to be down on the stem. So I'm going to make it that little bit longer, a little bit wider. So I've got more beads in the center, like so. And you'll see I just lifted these beads. Let me reverse that step because I do it naturally without even thinking, and I didn't tell you. So those center beads are in the middle, and these beads are sitting on the outside, which gives me some wire gap. By lifting the center beads and pushing your beads down to the left, you will get a nicer curve on that outside and no gaps, which is really, really the way you want it to look. Twisted, pointed up at the top, twisting that around, bringing these along. Now your leaf you want to do in proportion, obviously, with the size of your rose. So just keep on having a look at these. You can do them on various different sizes. You can make it as big or as small as you would like. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do on this yet. I'm just going to keep on having a look at the rose and the actual leaf itself. Just keep an eye and see what size we get to. I reckon I'll probably do another 2, so it'll probably get to about a 7.
I think the beauty, like the kind of its sizes, you can make your own. So you can make it bigger or smaller.
Of course.
Or if you make it smaller, just try it to the flower, and you can decide that perhaps it needs another couple of rows.
That's it, exactly. You can do absolutely any. And don't forget, you've got all of these beads in your kits. So you're going to get all 3 of your colours, your pink, your purple and your coral, as well as the green for your leaves, as well as all of your wire and your floristry tape. So you might want to make 3 in the pink, but you might want to make 1 big one in the purple. You might want to do even smaller ones. You might want to do like little rose buds in your coral. You can do whatever you like. I'm giving you the technique and the counts so that you can learn it. And this is the great thing with kits that you can mass make on. You can produce more than one thing because you can learn with it, practice with it, and make as well. Okay, so we are done. Last little sections. Just going to tie a knot in the end of this wire so that we can keep this as well. It is really handy having the split screen because things that then you would be doing off camera, you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so these are now my little leaves. We're going to do the same thing just to perfect them and neaten them up as we did with our petals. Twisty, twisty, pinchy, pinchy.
Becky's saying, thank you for that. I guess you could make felt leaves to go with them. And
yes.
Put oil on them.
Put the oil on the felt.
She does felting as well.
That's a great idea. Beautiful. Felt leaves on the base, put the oil on the felt. That would be perfect. Okay, pinching these along.
Margaret asking question, Sarah, do you think these leaves would look nice with craft body flowers?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't see why not. I haven't had time yet to do any sort of crossover from my fabric flowers to my beaded flowers, and I would really love to. Maybe you can test it out for me. I'd love to do some crossover crafting, but I'm
so busy at the moment.
Don't get the time at the moment. We're just too busy. But yes, it would be really lovely because even in some of my wreaths, I've got a lovely hydrangea wreath that sits behind me in my study at home, and I'm desperate to add some beaded flowers into it and have a little look, but just haven't had a chance yet. Okay, so my bigger one. Again, make sure that your beads sit nice and flush, give you that lovely finish, nice little shape. I'm going to use the back side against the rose because I want to hide one of my biggest sections of wire. So I'm going to take that, and the nice side is going to face outwards. Already it looks more like a rose, adding on that green. These are the steps I love. You sit and you make, and then this is just where it all comes together. It's like finding those last little pieces of a puzzle when you know you're going to nearly have completed it. My little one will hide this section here, but I'm going to bend this out. So this time my nice side of the rose my nice side of the leaf is going to go against the rose. I'm going to bend this out. So just like I had with the petals, bending it out so that it's just like the rose is coming out of the leaves, and that's going to sit in there enough to hide that little bit of wire. Again, just a few coils onto the, let's put this little one next to it, and I'm going to do the same thing. Bend it over and add it on to that little section up there, and that's going to give me my rose. I could really, if I had time and I was being really particular about it, add another one in there as well. They would look nice as a buttonhole to match a wedding outfit. Absolutely beautiful. Hat embellishments, you can put them on your hats, onto your fascinators, anything like that. That would be gorgeous. So many uses, not just home decor. Okay, my big rose leaf down at the bottom. So I'm just going to wiggle this out, straighten it up, give me that lovely shape, pinch it together, get it all going. From the top, cutting that bit down, twisting it over. And now this is going to sit further down. It's probably, probably a bit too big for this one, but it'll still be okay. I'm going to pinch together at the base. So pinching together at the bottom of the leaf, twisting it a little bit and bringing it over just around that base, just to get a really nice little finish on it. And that way it could sit somewhere along the stem just to give you that extra little finish, which will be really nice. Okay, binding the stems. So floristry tape, it comes in your kit as well. And I never use a flush end. So when it comes due, it will be, it would have been cut. I then cut at an angle or I rip the end off. The tape itself is self-adhesive, so I give it a stretch to release some of that gum and to neaten it all up. You'll see where it's a bit frilly along the edges. Once you stretch it, it's going to give you a nice neat finish. The frilly edges, I love to sit up and into the flower. It just gives you a nice graduated rather than a blunt finish. It gives you more of a graduated finish, and it just gives you a bit more of a natural look. So I'm going to hold that up here. It will also hide some of my wire. I'm then going to take my right hand and it's going to stick to itself. So as soon as you get round to the other side and it touches itself, it's going to stick. So self-adhesive. Twisting with my left and pinching just to tighten it up. I've got a few sharper ends down here, so just mind your fingers.
Cheryl is asking, can I ask, does the kit contain all the instructions? I find written instructions easier to follow that keep stopping and starting videos.
Yes, it does. It's got a written and photographed instruction set in there. What we actually have is a sheet that will teach you how to make a pointed petal. So that size is just random numbers. It's not going to be for any size. It just teaches you a pointed petal. And then in the rose construction, you'll have all of your sizes, your bead counts, your wire sizes, absolutely everything that you're going to need. Okay, so just going to reposition these because a few of those moved. And there you have your beautiful rose. I'm not actually going to add this one on because I don't like the size of the leaf, I don't think. Meh, I'll show you how to add it on anyway. Okay, so then I'm going to bind this one as well separately. So my stem is bound and now my leaf will be bound. Just twisting as we go. Your hands will get horrendously sticky while you're doing this, but it is worth it. I always just give my pliers a little bit of a wipe off afterwards as well because they do get a bit sticky. And then wherever you want it to be on your rose, try and give this like a nice little natural twist and bend to it so it looks realistic. Giving it a little bit of positioning, and then, oh yeah, that's nice. We'll position this one, or would it come out the same side? No, the opposite side. This is why it's always handy as well to actually have like a real rose to replicate, which always makes it a little bit easier as well. Take the stem, bind it around the base, and then if you're not happy with how neat your wrapping is on these, you can then actually take your wire and bind those together as well. Little bit of visible wire up at the top, but I've been watching myself doing it on the screen so I can see what you're doing, see what you're seeing. So neaten that up a little bit and you've got your really beautiful rose. Now don't forget you're going to be able to make, so I've got both of these pink roses out of my set. I still have all of these beads, more than enough there to make at least another one of these, if not two. So just depending on the sizes that you're going to be making, it's going to give you a different outcome, of course. And then, of course, in the same set, you're going to get your beautiful purple and also your coral. Very, very different, something different to do with similar techniques, but of course, something very different other than just your jewellery. I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved making it with you. An hour and 10, as well as a load of gossiping and a few repeats. So less than an hour to make one of your roses. Really, really lovely. I hope you absolutely loved them. Question, not really to do with flowers, but could you use floristry tape to bind the ends of Kumihimo before sticking the clasp? Do you know what? I've never thought of doing that, Lorna. Yes, you could. The tape will still, the glue will still stick to it. So yeah, not a bad shout, Lorna. Very good idea. It's always nice to have a giggle watching you both. Thank you. Have a nice day and safe drive back home, Sarah. Thank you, Camille. I've got to go meet husband halfway through central London to pick up the dog because he's working in there. He's got both dogs for me, so I'll pick up the little one and then him and I will be on our way back home tonight. Sandra says the picture is so clear with the new technology. The flowers are gorgeous. It really is. I'm going to get myself sorted with all of this so that my videos next week I can have the same setup for you. Thank you all so much. Kitty is going to be with you tomorrow morning to make the gorgeous seahorse. Did you have one here? Can I show them again?
That's the big one.
It's the bigger one, isn't it? But same technique, just larger beads. So this is the seahorse that Kitty is going to be making with you tomorrow. She will be doing it in smaller beads so that you can see the ones that come in our kits. This was a little tester one with some larger beads. But they're absolutely gorgeous. If you've got the kits, it's well worth having a little look as a refresher for the techniques. Love to you all. Stay safe. I will see you at some point next week. Kitty and I have worked out until October, so you've got us for a bit longer yet. We will have our diaries. We'll update all of the events and everything as well, and I will see you at some point during the week. And Kitty will see you tomorrow morning. Take care, guys. I'll see you later. Lots of love and stay safe.